What's going on, everybody? I'm Susu. Thank you for showing up, of course. We're going to get right into it today. We're going to be looking at ZIXI because ZIXI was a call I had on Friday where I said, hey guys, we should probably look at this one. It's about to bounce off the charts. Then we're going to talk about some of the other ones. A major runner today, over 1,000%, and I just want to show you something. Now, first, I should probably apologize because I haven't been on StockTwits very much. I've been focused on some things. As you can see, I'm back in the studio again, and there's just a lot of stuff I'm trying to do. One of the things I'm trying to do is actually form a small group of individuals that want to do something. There's an idea I have for the MJ industry, and I'm working so hard to get it done. Pretty much, I'm talking to a contractor, an electrician, and a couple other people, some of which just have a lot of money, and we're trying to figure something out. Basically, an entry into the industry in a field of it that just rarely anyone's even focused on. But so it's been keeping me very busy. But let's go ahead and go right into ZIXI. The reason why we want to look at that is because it was the one I called on Friday, and then what ended up happening is it's just slow. It's not doing anything too crazy, but it did have a little bit of a pop today. But this is why I want you guys to look at it the same way I see it. You can see right there where it went back on the 1 month chart. You can see where it went back to the 50-day SMA line. It's right there. Well, forgive me, we're going to get rid of that magnifying glass and pull up the arrow. Just make that a bit smaller so we can control it like this. So look right there. See that line right there in that area? That's your SMA, your 50-day SMA, the red line. And whenever stuff comes down to that, that's going to be a really good potential bounce point. And so you want to buy when something gets right towards that. I ended up saying that day I was going to wait for about 842. And of course, I heard the gamut of, you guys are crazy, it's going to 7, all this nonsense. You know, people will always tell you this, but you just say, dude, no emotion. I'm not in love with it. I don't hate it. I don't care about it. I'm simply looking at the chart. And if you do that, you're making it off a mathematical equation, essentially, because mathematics is what works to make these averages. So when you're only reacting, then you're reacting to data and facts. There's no emotion involved. There's nobody manipulating you. You're not trying to manipulate anybody. And when you do this, it's so beneficial to you. But anyways, you could see it there, boom. And that's why I'm saying now, what I wanted you to see is that if we go to the 1 year chart, you can see why this is likely to bounce when it goes back to its lines. I mean, look here. This is a spectacular chart that has demonstrated time and time again it wants to keep moving forward. Now look, you have a return to the line there. You got one there, one there, one there, one here. Now, they're not returning to those blue lines. Basically, they're actually doing something that's even better. What's essentially happening is they're going like this in waves, and every time it comes down, it refuses to go to the bottom for support. It's actually bouncing off of the higher trend lines, the shorter term, like the 50-day or the 20-day or the EMAs. Like back here, you could see it went under the 200 days. It actually made it under them. Same here. Did it again, right? But then what happened was it got some traction and really started moving. And then you see right here where when it went up, it only came back down to about there. It never even came below them like it did the time before. And then what happened was it came here and it had a very clean bounce right off the 20, which is that navy blue line right there. It had a clean bounce right off it and then straight up nearly. And now look what it's done again. Now it's returned to the 50-day SMA. And hopefully, according to the chart, it won't even try to see these ones down here, which are the 200-day moving averages, the EMA and the SMA. Now, if you forgot how to do it or you never knew how, the way we do this so that you can see the same trend lines I have is you go to that little gearbox on the right, go to indicators right there in the middle, go to upper chart, and then you'll have your EMA. And then there you want to set up, lately I've been doing the 913-200, or today I changed it to the 9, the 13, and then 180. Okay, so it gives a little bit of a difference between the 200, that 20-day difference, and then your SMA, which I set to 20, 50, 200, which I try to keep those numbers because those numbers are pretty much, it makes the market fair. It's like we all know where it's going to be, and then from that point, it makes the knowledge fair. We all know what the knowledge is. 20, 50, 200 for the SMA. Now it's just a matter of, is it going to break it or bounce off it? And no one can tell you that. And that's why it's funny that they would just, everybody knows what they are. And the stocks bounce off them or break through them every single day. And that's what the problem is. There's people say, well, if everyone knew that, you know, why doesn't everyone use it? Well, people do. But what happens is you don't know if it's going to bounce or break. And that's the catch. That's the part that no one knows, and that's where the bulls and the bears fight the hardest fights. The shorts will try to short right on those lines to break them. The bulls will buy on those lines to try to bounce off it, and that's where the wars take place. If you ever look, you can see where the wars take place. They always take place on trend lines because bears want to break them and bulls want to bounce off them, and that's never going to change. So looking at ZIXI, you can see why that was a buy for me. KPTI, I want to talk about that real quick too. We'll do KPTI. If you look at KPTI, it showed up in my thing as a buy just the other day, and this is why. It returned, as you can see, back to the trend lines. It was actually at 5:15 is when my buy alert went off, and I didn't even tell people. I was like, son of a bitch, I should have let my peoples know in case they wanted to try to get in on that. It's a great swing play, as you can see. What it did before, we'll snap a shot here so you can just clearly see the swing play that they're trying to do here. It's like this. Look at that. Woom, woom, right? They're trying to swing it up again. And this is where my buy went off right there. And if you check on the actual chart, you can see that I think it was like 514 is where it went. Let's check that. As you can see right there, the L in that box is 514. That's the low of that day. So mine went off at 515, nearly exactly at the bottom. But you can see why I said it there was because I wanted to get it right off the bounce of that line. And it just worked absolutely perfect. And now it opened up today. It ended up like opening and then going, I think, to like 640 almost. Yeah, 632. So when it did have a nice bounce from 514 to 632. Think about that. 1,000 shares would be almost $1,200 in like 4 days. 5,000 shares, mad money. I mean, you're talking about people making mad bank off this thing because it's a fantastic swing play. So KPTI, back on it again because I believe that it'll go higher. I'm actually looking for, after these swings continuously take place for a while, I'm looking for it to go up here and touch those. So you're going to have what's essentially a swing play like this until finally it collides up there. So the next way up, the next leg up, we're probably going to run into 7, maybe 715, and then you may have a swing downward, and then it'll go back up again. But it's probably going to do this game where it goes up, then returns to the trend lines. So for that reason, KPTI is absolutely on my watch list, and that's not going to change until the chart changes and starts facing downward. As of now, it has upward momentum. Bulls are in control. People are playing it smart. That's why you're seeing the return to the trend line, then the bounce, because people are swinging the hell out of this thing. So if you have been watching it and you wonder if it's a good time to get in, right now it's halfway up its next swing. It is a good time to get in. And then you want to look for that 7 to 715 range. Maybe hold it. Maybe you're just like, I'm just going to hold it and go through the whole swing up to 9. It could take 4 to 6 months. Who knows? The market could turn and change everything. But let's not forget, KPTI was going up when the market was down. Over the whole month, it was a disaster. And look what it was doing. You could see, you could follow the chart right there. All through May, it was just doing its thing. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? All the way to May 28th before it had a down day. I mean, there's no red candles until May 28th. And then it returned to the trend line and did its same thing where it just fell down to the bottom was the SMA, the 50 SMA. So I want you guys to watch that one. Keep it very close. You're going to want to pay attention to it and buy it now, or you can wait till the next dip and try to get it, or you can buy it and hold it long term. But I believe that's a swinger. I believe is going to be going up. Its trajectory will be something like that. Matter of fact, one way to see a good example of what a chart could do is if you go to take the EMA off and put linear regression, and then what happens is you just go like that and you see the linear regression on the 1 month. That's your linear regression. That is basically what it's doing on the short term. 3 months, still sloping up. It's not until you go out 6 months that you see it was, a bad play because it was just had that downward trajectory. Remember what I always say, the path of least resistance. We'll take a look on the 1 month, and what does that tell you? As of right now, the path to least resistance is up. And if you go to the 5-day, it's up. That's for now. On the short term, this is a very positive chart. So for KPTI, it's a buy or a close watch. Get on it on the swing. Wait for it to return to trend lines, but keep a close eye. And ZIXI, I believe, is about to do something as well. Its chart is very, very clear on what it wants to do. Is it going to be able to? Hard to know. Anything can happen in the market. But there's two for you that you should be paying attention to. I'm going to get on to the next one. Thank you.